competition, LeBron or MJ?
LeBron is not even close. It's not even close.
Really?
And Skip, I'm finna blow you out the water with this one. I've been waiting 4 years to get this one.
Oh, boy.
Okay. LeBron has lost in the finals to two teams that had 4 Hall of Famers. He lost to the Spurs. The Spurs had Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker, Kawhi. We all agree that they're going to the Hall of Fame. Am I correct? Okay, thank you very much. Skip.
Time out. Almost everybody goes to the Hall of Fame.
Hold on.
Basketball,
Hold on,
seriously.
Hold on, okay.
And what do you call the Spurs? Broccoli. You had little to no respect for them.
I don't like their style of play. I just love that they are very good players. I understand that. Okay, the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, KD, Clay, Draymond. I feel comfortable in saying all 4 of those guys are going to the Basketball Hall of Fame. And when you look at it, Skip, with the exception of Magic Johnson is the only guy that's comparable when it's all said and done. I mean, so who other than Magic, when he's done that Jordan beat in the finals, that will be better than KD, that would be better than Tim Duncan, that would be better than Steph Curry? Because those are 3 guys that beat LeBron. Now, he beat Magic Johnson, but Magic was 31.
Wow. That's ancient.
Hold on. But you do realize Magic had gone to 9 finals in 12 years. So can you imagine the wars that he had gone through with the bad boy Pistons and the big 3 and the big Celtics? Okay.
LeBron's 35.
I'm just saying, Skip. Just a second, Skip. Just a second. Okay. If you look at, the Knicks was so tough. He had to battle the Knicks. The Knicks had 1 Hall of Famer. He's having to battle the big 3 Celtics. Is Paul Pierce going to the Hall of Fame? Is Kevin Garnett going to the Hall of Fame? Is Ray Allen going to the Hall of Fame? A simple no or a simple yes. Rajon Rondo has an outside chance. He gets this title, he's going to be in contention. That's what he had to go through. Okay, then you say, whoa, the Heat. Man, he had to battle those tough Heat, the Pat Riley Heat. 1 Hall of Famer, Lonzo Mourning. That's what he had to go through. Who else he had to go through? Oh, gotcha. The Indiana Pacers. Man, the Pacers, the Davis boys, Reggie Miller and Chris Mullin. Really, Skip? When you look at this and you look at LeBron's body of work, now, had Jordan beat the big 3 Celtics? Whoo, Skip, you got me. If he had beat the early Celtics with Moses Malone, Dr. J, Bobby Jones, Caldwell, Derrick, Skip, you got me. I got nothing for you. Skip, he couldn't get past the Bucks with Sidney Moncrief. 1 Hall of Famer. Took him out. He started beating never beat the big 3 Celtics. He started getting past the bad boy Pistons, the original, once they got old. You know that and I know that. So when you boil it down and you look at what LeBron has faced in the finals and you look at what he's had to face to get there, it's not even close. You look at the guys that he beat. He beat Portland. Portland had 1 Hall of Famer. He beat the Supersonics with 1 Hall of Famer. LeBron James has never faced a team with at least 2. Even when he lost to the Mavericks, Dirk and Jason Kidd in the Hall of Fame, normally it's anywhere between 2 and 4. Michael beating guys with 1 Hall of Famer, Clyde Drexler in Portland, 1 in Supersonic with Gary Payton. Come on, Skip. This is not even close. My guys had the tougher path. 4 Hall of Famers in their prime. And that's what he doing.
My turn.
No further questions.
1991, Michael Jordan's first path to a ring just might have been the toughest path in the history of the NBA because it started with Patrick Ewing's Knicks. And this was a different era. This is football, basketball, and these guys were loaded with tough football-style basketball players. Patrick, Mark Jackson, Charles Oakley, John Starks. It is tough. You're going to have to fist fight your way through that team, and that was just the first round. Then it was Charles Barkley's Sixers in the second round. Is Charles any good?
Yeah, 1 Hall of Famer.
Okay. Then the bad boy Pistons, who had just put Michael through the ringer, but he had gone to the weight room finally, thanks to the great Tim Grover, and he said, okay, now I know how to do this now. They've got their Jordan rules. They're going to try to knock me on my butt every time, but I'm going to beat them at their own game. I'm going to be even more physical than they are. And he swept a team featuring Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, and Dennis Rodman. He swept them in the conference finals, which led to, is this any good? Is this a challenge? Magic Johnson, who I rank the second greatest player of all time.
Yes.
Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Byron Scott, and Sam Perkins. Not to mention Vlade, who was an underrated center because he was so cagey and wily and such a shrewd operator. It wasn't quite Kareem, but they were still potent and they were still lethal. And he blew through all of them. They lost game one at home to those Lakers, and then they went boom, 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 4 in a row. It's as rocky and tough a road as anybody has ever faced. And that was just for the first ring. And they had to fight through those same Knicks 4 different times. Patrick Ewing, they would add pieces, more football, basketball players like Anthony Mason. And he had to fight through them in the second round the next time in 92, then in the conference finals in 93. And it's Ewing, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Doc Rivers was on that team. You want to talk about mentally and physically tough to get to the championship. I told you the East was the beast all through Jordan's days. The hard part was just getting through the East and getting to the finals. Then I'll give you some of the finals because the second finals against Clyde Drexler, he did finish second in MVP voting to Michael Jordan. And he did have Terry Porter, who was a 2-time All-Star, who was pretty good. But I'll give you that one. For Michael, that was pretty. It was 4-2. They did win a couple of games. But then 93, this was no piece of cake in the finals because this was the Phoenix Suns who had dominated the Western Conference that year. And it was, guess who the MVP was in 1993? Can you help me with this? How about Charles Barkley was the MVP? So you're facing him on the Phoenix Suns, along with a 4-time All-Star in Tom Chambers, a 3-time All-Star in Kevin Johnson. I don't even know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he should be. And how about another 3-time All-Star in Thunder Dan Marley, and Kurt Rambis was doing windows for that team, doing all the dirty work. That was a basketball team. That was not easy. And then they had to vanquish once more the Ewing team once more in 1996 when he came back the second time. But look who they had to get through. Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning. Why isn't Tim Hardaway in the Hall of Fame? I don't know, because he's a Hall of Famer to me. Second round was Ewing and company, the football team. The third round, is this any good? They swept this team. Shaq, Penny, and Ho Grant. Is that any good? That's firepower, man. They swept them. That team went 60-22 in the regular season, and Jordan just took them out in 4 games, which led to probably the easiest round of all, which was Gary Payton and company, Sean Kemp and company in the NBA Finals. That team went 64-18 in the Western Conference that year. That's how good that team was. So 1997, you know what happened. They have to keep running through the Miami Heat, which just got better and better because they kept adding more players. But they got to the finals, and twice in a row, they had to beat Karl Malone. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I'd say he is.
I got him, Miss Stockton.
He is the second all-time leading scorer in the league. He still scored more points than LeBron has so far. Is that any good?
Yes.
How about John Stockton? He is still the all-time assist leader, right? He was a 10-time All-Star. He led the league in steals twice. He was a dominating point guard on both ends of the floor. So you had to overcome Malone and Stockton, and trust me, I was there. It was not easy, and that was back-to-back years. And then you mentioned that conference final in 1998. Who was that team coached by the way? Larry Joe Bird. In his first year of coaching, who was the coach of the year that year? It was Larry Joe Bird, because he was outstanding. And I was there for all 7 of those games, and trust me, it was flat out basketball war. It was Reggie Miller, it was Chris Mullin, it was Rick Smits, who was like 7'2", and it was the Davis brothers, if you will, quote unquote, and Antonio and Dale, and Mark Jackson playing a lot of point guard for that team along with Travis Best. That was a basketball team that could play basketball or football, however you wanted to play it. And it went to the last drop in Game 7 at the United Center. And finally, Batman took over once again. He saw the light in the sky, and he said, I got you.
This Jordan beat Magic, Mailman, Barkley, Drexler, Payton, Steph Curry, KD, Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard. Of those, let me ask you a question. Other than Magic, who's going in front of KD? Who's going in front of Tim Duncan? Who's going in front of Steph Curry of Mailman, Barkley, Drexler, and Gary Payton?
Okay. You got me on Kevin Durant because he's just better than LeBron James. He's the best player on the planet. Once he went to Golden State, it was over for your guy because your guy's not as good. Your guy in back-to-back game threes in his palace, he could not cope with Kevin Durant.
Okay, Kevin Durant won the Finals MVP even though LeBron James in that game 3 had 42, 12, and 9. I want to know what player of the guys that he beat, Mailman, Barkley, Drexler, Payton, better than Tim Duncan.
Well, okay, but I named you about 50 guys who were right in the same ballpark.
And who in the ballpark is Tim Duncan other than Magic?
Look at your East. It's the biggest cakewalk in LeBron's day, especially once he joined the Heat. You got George Paul's Pacers 3 times. So you got DeMar DeRozan's baby dinosaurs 3 times. You got to take them out.
But not with the
cakewalk.
Heat. Not with the Heat.
It's a cakewalk.
Not with the Heat.
I'm sorry.
Not with the Heat.
It's easy.
Not with the Heat.
It's easy.
Not with the Heat.
Listen, the turning point of LeBron's career came in 2015 before they had Kevin Durant in Oakland. And the Golden State Warriors weren't sure who they were yet because Steph always came up a little smaller than he was in the playoffs. And what happened in games 1, 2, and 3? LeBron averaged 41, 12, and 8. I've never seen it. I told you. It was the greatest 3-game stretch of LeBron's career. And game 4, you're up 2 games to 1 in your house. And what happened? LeBron came up small.
They lost.
He shot 7 of 22 from the field, and he went 1 of 4 from 3 and 5 attempts from the free throw line. And Iggy took him and basically took him out.
Okay, how about this here?
Okay, that would have been the moment. You could have entered the MJ conversation that night.
We're going to pass this.
If you beat Golden State, if you had them down, and again, you had lost Kevin Love before the finals started, and you lost Kyrie in overtime of game 1, that would be an achievement. But instead, you once again lost game 4, 5, and 6, just as you had against Boston and Dallas in the final.
Okay, Skip.
4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6.
I'm going to give you an opportunity. Okay, I'm going to say you got Magic, Mailman, Barkley, Drexler, and Payton. And I'm going to take Steph Curry, KD, Tim Duncan, Kawhi, and Klay Thompson. Who you think win that game?
Boy, those other guys.